Hey, we're live. It's May 15th, 2023, 7 o'clock Central, and we're at it again. I got a lot of fun things to talk about tonight. We just had our fourth event of the season in Jeffersonville, Indiana. We had 38 teams from 11 states and 29 out of 38 weighed fish. So overall, a lot of fish were weighed, a lot of uniqueness on the event, from the size of the fish to a lot of the same size of some of the smaller fish. We had the ruler there, of course. It was a 5-fish limit. So going to get into a lot of that about Jeffersonville, Indiana. It's our second time that Twisted Cat Outdoors has been on the Ohio River. Always skeptical a little bit on the fish size because you always hear Ohio River don't have the fish like the Mississippi, but it gets us every time. And like I said, it was a crazy good event. A lot of people weighed fish, a lot of first timers. 2 anglers, which we'll get into that also, caught their PBs during the tournament, which is awesome. So we're going to play a quick video from our presenting sponsor, Sea Arc Boats. Again, I want to thank all the sponsors that have helped create Twisted Cat to what it is today, and everybody that's been a part of it, from the workers, the sponsors, the anglers, and everyone. It's been fun, and it continues to grow. So again, this is number 4 out of 9. So we have a lot of tournaments left this year. You can still get involved and start fishing these events. So we'll play a quick video, and then we'll get into tonight's show.
2.0 was designed for the serious trophy cat angler and is most often used for tournament fishing. A major key to having a true catfishing boat is its ability to keep the large fish alive so that they can be released back into the water just as healthy as when they were caught. The 2.0's unique design includes a 115-gallon live well that is equipped with an 800 and 1,600-gallon-per-hour fresh water pump. This keeps the contaminated water filtered out and the fresh water coming in. The enormous live well gives plenty of room so that the fish don't get beat around on long boat rides. The Euro-style transom allows for easy access in and out of the boat and is tall enough to deflect large waves that can sometimes arise without much notice. This transom is constructed from 3/16-inch aluminum for added strength. The easy-access 3-door battery compartment has plenty of room for batteries, battery chargers, power pole pumps, and additional storage. Rod storage is not a problem. The center rod box is 8 feet long and can hold over 15 rods and reels. The self-bailing bow deck sheds water out of the boat instead of back in the boat when throwing a casting net. The casting area is constructed from tread plate to help eliminate slippage. The bow is also taller than the previous model to combat rough water rides. All of this in combination with the proven 15-degree V-hull, an added reverse chine for more lift, heavy-duty 125-gauge construction, Seatco air ride captain and passenger seats, and a durable walk-through windshield makes this boat the most popular in catfishing.
Okay, so we got 2 special guests that we're going to bring in. Well, not 2, actually just 1. We got Seth and Travis Yost. Let's bring them on in. All right, hey everybody.
Hey.
So another Monday night Twisted Cat Outdoors podcast presented by Sea Arc. Seth, we missed you this weekend.
Oh yeah, you guys are having way more fun than me. I guarantee that.
Yeah, but you're on vacation.
I know. My vacations center around fishing, though, and this one wasn't.
Okay, I'm just making sure that everything's good there. So a couple quick things. Like I said, we had 38 teams, 29 out of 38 weighed fish, 38 teams from 11 states, and this is, it feels like it's been more than just 4 tournaments, but it's this is only number 4, and we've got 9 plus the championship. So actually, there's a little bit of time off. We have Fishing for Freedom coming up first weekend of June. I got a Sea Arc poker run June 23rd and 24th. And then after that, it's game on. We're going to be hitting a lot of tournaments. Hopefully, I'm fishing some also. Actually, I played the see our Dynasty video because I'm actually going to go pick up my Dynasty Wednesday. So I'm ready to get my boat. I've been boatless for a long time, since October. So I've been jumping on Seth's boat and a few other boats here and there and having a lot of fun. But there's something about having your own boat and having your stuff on it and stuff like that. But I'm excited for that. So hopefully here, maybe next Monday, we're doing it out of a boat. And like I said, some of the things we're going to do in the future is have some of this, fishing stuff, fishing lifestyle stuff during the podcast. What's up, Philip and Aaron? Aaron was there this weekend. Aaron was actually, Travis, he was in the hot seat for a little bit too, but got knocked out. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So let's start. Travis, I guess, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us, where you're from, how long you've been fishing, how long you've been tournament fishing, and just give us a little info.
Okay, yeah. Travis Yost, everybody. I'm originally from Texas, and I didn't do a whole lot of catfishing when I was younger. I've been fishing, probably like everybody else on here since they could hold a pole in their hands. Yeah, so in Texas, I did some saltwater fishing on the Gulf and learned a lot in the Gulf of Mexico in the saltwater. And then after that, I moved to California and continued my saltwater fishing career. Didn't fish any tournaments out there, strictly fun fishing. And then I moved out here in 2015. And that's when the catfish world kind of landed in my lap. I had a good buddy, Corey Peterson, that we actually lived in California pretty close to each other. And that's where we met and we started fishing together. That was back in 2010. So 13 years we've been fishing together. Yeah, him and I started getting into these tournaments. We started with the Indiana Catfish Association. And their tournaments are very broad spectrum tournaments. They don't do any little rivers now, but they do the big rivers and the lakes. So that's where we learned to be pretty versatile fishermen. But yeah, then one thing led to another, and we literally went from stink bait and those traditional tactics of catching fish, a lot of anchoring. Tons of anchoring was done in those tournaments, the early tournaments. And we evolved and adapted. And this last weekend, I wasn't fishing with him. I was actually fishing with his grandfather. And that's kind of the background of me.
Yeah, that's interesting. No, it's funny you say that because, I go back to, I want to say it was 2012 was my first real big tournament. And it was Monsters on the Ohio, and I fished it with Chris Wallace, and
oh yeah,
everybody was anchoring. So Larry Muse was like one of the guys, the kind of the OGs that was drifting, bumping, however you want to call that. And
right.
I was passed out in my boat at 9 a.m. snoring. Actually, me and Chris were both sleeping. We didn't get a bite. So. You always start somewhere. We weren't using stink bait, of course. We were using, I'm sure, some frozen skipjack or whatever. But
right.
Everybody starts somewhere. Just like when we talked about boats and gear. This weekend we had a good conversation with some guys. Rallied up by standing next to a boat, and everybody's first boat they had and their first rod and reel. And I had an Eagle Claw, one of the yellow ones you get from Bass Pro.
Oh yeah.
Rod was, and then I had a Pin 309, and I still have the first setup that I ever bought is still hanging up in my closet. And it's fun to kind of go back to those memories and watch new people get into the sport too. So that's cool. You've kind of been all over the country, lived here, lived out there, and now you're on the Ohio fishing for big cats and learned your different techniques to do it. So let's get in. I think I hurled bait off that. So I guess let's get into this weekend. When did you sign up? And then kind of give me your tactic of, I'm going to fish it with my partner. We're going to get bait, and then this is how we're going to target this event.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure when Morris wrote my name on his calendar. It it had to have been a long time ago because I had no idea that this tournament was coming up. And we had talked a week before because we just fished in Cannleton last weekend, or the weekend before last. And so we were coming off back-to-back tournaments, and we were kind of like, I'm not sure if we want to go. Well, that Cannleton tournament was the first tournament that we started bumping. And
Like ever?
no, not ever.
I was gonna say,
But
yeah.
of the year, first tournament of the year,
Right.
we were bumping and we were catching fish. And catching a fish bumping is, I mean, there's something magical about it. It's definitely pure magic when that fish takes your bait.
Right.
But we left that tournament on a positive note. We finished second in Cannleton. We fished the Little John's Bait Shop tournament, and it was the next day that I started poking at him. What do you think about getting in on this tournament? Corey, I usually fish with Corey. He was already signed up to fish with Terry, and Morris said, "You know what? If you want to fish it, let's do it." So it was Sunday evening when I registered. We were boat 14, I think, something like that. And so from there, we had fished New Albany 2 weeks prior. And we left water uncovered. Everybody leaves a tournament thinking, hey, you know, I should have done this, or I wish I could have stopped here or checked this spot out. And so that's where we came up with that game plan. And then bait was really hard to come by. Very hard to come by. I know Morris had, my partner, he'd been through the week. Corey's partner had been through the week, and we pretty much chalked it up to we're going to work with what we got. We don't have a whole lot. Corey and I decided to make a late night run Friday night, kind of a Hail Mary. After work, Friday, didn't have a lot of time, went and checked out a spot, and we got a couple good baits. We were real fortunate for that. Only got about 3 hours of sleep, probably. Not very much before we had to turn around and head down south to Jeffersonville. So that's how all of that came about. I mean, we weren't flying by the seat of our pants, but I mean, we were pretty close.
You know, bait was definitely an issue because there was a lot of anglers calling me. You know, like I said, we had anglers from Kansas and Arkansas that, you know, they were getting ready to come down on Wednesday, but they're like, we can't get bait. You know, I know a lot of people went to Kentucky Lake, I think, to get bait, which Kentucky Lake is not as close as I thought it was. I think it's a several hours, isn't it?
It's a long way away. It's a hike for sure.
So, I mean, it's, you know, having that fresh bait and I mean, obviously you had some fresh bait, but there are several teams that said that they had Moon Eye and, well, second place and third, second and fourth. I think all they use is Moon Eye.
Moon Eye, yeah. That was the fresh bait that we had. And
oh, it is?
Yep. Moon Eye.
Yeah.
Moon Eye can be a great bait. It can be. I mean, there is definitely days that I've had out on the river where they want skipjack. They want nothing to do with the fresh Moon Eye for whatever reason. But yeah, I think Saturday was definitely a day for the Moon Eye, if you had it.
Or corn, it sounds like.
Corn was definitely on the river. That was on the menu.
Yeah. So in like the backstage or whatever I call it, Travis brought up that point. I kind of forgot about it. I just wrote it down. Actually, corn. A lot of boats weighed fish that had corn, and I mean they were throwing up a lot of corn. And then you always hear, especially on the Mississippi River, which I am used to. You know, when you fish a tournament, you can go to the elevator or to the granary and catch those fish. You can catch a ton of fish. I mean, you can catch 30 fish. They all seem to be that 20-pound range. And then you can maybe luck into a good one or further down. But the problem is when you do that, they're hard to, you know, keep alive and keep, you know, they're puking up a lot. stuff gets plugged up. It looks like soup in your live well. So there's always issues doing that. But you talked about maybe there was a barge that got dumped or something, and there was a lot of corn out there.
Yeah, that was the rumor on the streets that I heard, that there may have been some contaminated corn. Whether it got wet, I mean, I don't know, but I've never seen that much corn in live wells like we did on Saturday. So
Yeah.
something got dumped in that river, and those fish were just totally gorging themselves on corn.
Yeah, there were some big bellies. And like I said, it was so I went down there and I made sure I brought the Kevin Parks ruler. We get it set up on the table. I'm thinking, man, this is going to be a fun tournament. I'm going to have to touch every single fish and measure them. And they start coming in, and they're just, 35 inch is a big fish. That's a good sized fish, So, the best you can have is 2 over blues over 35, 2 over flatheads over 35, and then a channel over 28. So technically you can have a pretty good bag, but I think we didn't probably weigh 3 or 4, maybe 5 over 35 inch. Obviously you had one. There was two big ones. There was maybe 2 flatheads, but nothing like I expected. I think I maybe put 1 fish on the ruler just to kind of see what it was, but nobody had the second fish to go with it, or let alone a third. And you only had what, 2?
What, we only weighed in 2 fish.
2 fish.
2 fish.
And 2 fish, which a total of 87.45. And Nicholas and James with third place had 78.24. And they had a bad day, I guess, but did you hear what they said?
No, I don't think I did.
They messed up and thought it was a 3 fish limit.
No.
And I seen their Facebook story, and he was culling fish. And I'm like,
oh, no.
So I can't remember. It might have been like a 10. And it was nothing big, but they were 9 pounds behind you. So they made almost a $4,000 mistake.
No kidding.
But again, that stuff happens, and it is what it is. But it, like I said, I thought would see a lot more fish. And before, what was your PB? Because this was also your PB.
63 pounds.
60. And how long ago did you catch that?
Caught that last September at the Rising Sun tournament.
In another tournament.
Yeah. In September and Rising Sun, they do a 2-day tournament that's an absolute blast. And that was I got that one.
You are a lucky dog. Not many people can. For some reason, it seems like the last 2 years we just keep weighing PBs for people. I don't get it. I didn't even realize we were talking about Nicholas's his 56. He had a 56.80, and it was his PB, and he was pumped, and I had no idea. You're so calm and collective at the weigh-in. It's like you're just chill, man. So like you weren't too excited about anything. So you never say anything. I had no idea that was your PB.
Oh yeah, it was. I was pretty excited in the boat. I promise you that.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
I try to act like I've done it a time or two. You know what I mean?
What time did you catch that?
We caught it early in the morning. It was about 8.
I did hear a lot of people catching them early.
8:15. Somewhere. I think he was in the boat by 8:30.
Wow. What about your second fish?
Second fish came around 1 or 2 o'clock, maybe around noon. There was a long time span of no fish in the boat. And talk about pressure. Having a fish like that in the boat and need to put 4 more with it. The pressure was on. And I usually don't have that problem. Never do I come into a tournament and whack one right in the beginning. But so this was kind of a whole different game for us to try to put those 4 other fish in the boat, because I mean we had potential for an enormous bag,
Oh yeah.
an enormous bag. But I mean we found the fishing pretty rough.
So what happened after that first fish? Like it's 8:15, you got a 75 in the boat, and when you catch that fish, do you like keep going? Do you go back up and kind of run through the same area?
When we caught that fish, we reset. We reset and did that same drift again, and nothing happened.
How long a drift is it?
That one was probably 45 minutes. Is that section of river that we were fishing that we wanted to do? We like to move around a lot, so I mean, if 30 minutes goes by, I mean, we're gonna find something else to cover a lot of water.
That's really
So
interesting.
so now it's 10, 11 o'clock, no other fish. Now what's going through your mind? Do you just like, we got to change tactics completely? Like, do we got to go anchor? Do we go to a different section? Like, what's going through your mind when you only have one fish in the boat, which is a big fish?
Well, what was going through our minds, we were really interested in covering a lot of water. So finding that fish, you find one fish and it's hard to pattern catching one fish. You might be in 20 foot of water, you catch one, but they might not all be in there. So we hit different areas with structure that we knew of, and fished different water columns, different depths, and trying to figure out something that we could stick to, a solid plan. I mean, we didn't abandon our whole strategy of, hey, we're not catching anything bumping, let's go drag. Now, if we had a longer tournament, that probably would have been a good option for us. But in this case, we were sticking to our strategy of cover water, keep it moving.
Yeah, that's interesting. We're kind of the opposite. I mean, not really move around a lot, but try and stay in the same half mile all day long.
Yeah. Yeah. And that can be the case too. I mean, especially when you're bumping, I mean, you can move over 20 yards and, catch completely different fish.
Right.
They always say, I'm going to make a shirt, don't leave fish to find fish.
Yeah.
Hey, I've heard that somewhere. Was that Wicked Tuna?
Yeah, I think so.
Always keep bait in the water. That's what I've always been told. But there 2 weeks ago, that would have really screwed us. I mean, we fished the same stuff all day long, couldn't buy a bite, and then the last half hour of the tournament, we're like, let's go bump for a little bit.
Yeah.
And 64. So
nice.
Yeah, you were talking about being excited in the boat. I mean, Alex, you saw my reaction when we put that in the net, and I didn't even reel it in. I can't imagine if I actually catch my PB in a tournament, what's going to happen. I lost my mind just netting the fish.
Oh, man. It was incredible. Unbelievable. I mean, the way it bit, I mean, it didn't, like, hammer it and start rip and drag or anything like that. It bit like any other 15, 20-pound fish would bite. And so, I mean, I looked over, I'm like, hey, I got one. And just kind of smiled and, stood up and did my thing. And, as your boat's moving down river, those fish like to bury themselves, stick themselves. So you're kind of reeling down on it, catching up to them. And when that boat got over the fish, I'm like, oh, man, that's got some weight to it. And it was a lot of fun reeling it in. I mean, it took us to the bank. We had to maneuver the trolling motor to get out of the bank, and it got almost wrapped around a rod. I mean, it had the line for a minute, and so it was, I mean, like any other big fish. I mean, if you're not like seriously ready for it, you're gonna run into some problems.
Right.
And we did. But I mean, everything went smooth, real smooth.
That's awesome. It's a good feeling to have a big one on the boat on tournament day, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, there it is. I'm trying to bring up that picture. So just to show people how big that fish truly is. And, even the 56 pounder that Nicholas caught, it was big fish, but
that's a good picture. That thing looks massive.
Yeah.
That 56 did.
Nice.
Another one right there.
That's awesome.
Did you get a chance to look at some of these?
Yeah. I was flicking through them earlier this morning. That one.
So, I mean, that's a cool picture.
One of my favorites.
That is a really cool picture.
I mean, that's a absolute toad right there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just when they get that 50-pound range is a big fish, but when they get after that, they just start growing like their head just gets wide and just what I mean. And that one's got a good belly on it too. And the tail, I mean, when them tails, I bet you've seen the tail come up and slap. I mean, that's a giant tail on that fish.
Well, Alex, even when it was in the boat, both of us had the hardest time even putting a weight on it. I mean, we knew it was better than 50. And we knew it was better than 60, but how much better than 60? You know what I mean? Was it 67 was really my best guess in the boat.
It's tough, you know what I mean? Like I said, it's just they all just get so different. They grow so different after 50. It's what I mean? But
yeah, well,
just like the jaws on them.
Once they get over 85, 92, it's a totally different change. Like we weighed those two fish over 90 in Cape last year, and they looked totally different, but they were almost the same exact weight. One of them was really, really long, giant head, and the other one was a little bit shorter and fatter. But it's kind of crazy how different they can be.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. How did you hook them? Was it a good hook set, or were you nervous about that? And tell us a little bit about your gear, your line that you were using, your length of the leader line, all that stuff. What was the kick at that on that fish?
Yeah, so I was using 80-pound braid on an 80-pound main line. Your traditional bumping setup, just a 3-way swivel, weight that comes down about 6 inches, and maybe a 3-foot leader that went back. And I was using a peg float, just a beat up, nasty peg float. It was pink, but half of it was white just from bumping on the rocks and stuff like that. And so, I mean, it was a very traditional bumping setup. As far as my rod goes, I still use the Mud Bums rod, the Walker, for bumping. I'm a big fan of that rod still. And my reel, I use a Boss Accurate. Have you heard of the Accurate reels?
I've not.
It's interesting.
Yeah, they're geared towards saltwater fishing. It's called this one's the Boss Fury Accurate reel, and it's a.
You know what? I've seen that actually. I love looking in boats and always somebody's got a cool idea that I want to copy in my boat. But I remember you had mud bum rods in your boat, and one reel was kind of and I was gonna ask on the mic, but I think that's the one. What color is it? It was like a gold.
It's silver and gold, yeah.
Yeah.
It's silver and gold. I mean, it's a lower profile. It's not a low profile reel by any means, but I mean, it's just smaller in stature. But I mean, it's got the power of a horse behind it. I mean, the thing that is challenging with it is that drag is so strong. It's not a traditional star drag, so it's not like you set it and you're already have your drag set. You can flip up that lever and adjust your drag, and that thing is a horse, an absolute horse. But
so is that your style? I mean,
for bumping.
You put drag pretty tight
on that fish. I am kind of nervous to put a whole lot of drag on some of these fish because I mean I think there it is. Yep, that's it, buddy.
So that's it right there. So line counter. So that is a beast of a reel.
Oh yeah.
Casey Tudoro, I think it is, uses something similar to that too on all of his anchor rods.
Does he?
He's got some crazy looking reels that I've never seen before. They look a lot like that.
I know Abbott makes them too.
That might be what he's got.
Yeah, I don't have any Abbotts. I do know of some fishermen that do have them, and I mean they're traditionally saltwater reels, and I mean they can do some work.
Yeah,
But that's no level line then either, right?
No level.
So is that a problem when you're bumping and you're trying to get more back, or I mean, you're just kind of used to it, and that's?
No, I'm used to it. So I mean, when I'm reeling in, I just guide that line with my thumb instead of having that level line do it for me. And you just kind of watch it and make sure it's kind of spooling up evenly. If it's getting heavy on one side, just adjust.
So you're doing 80 braid to 80 mono.
To 80 mono.
What's your dropper weight leader or line?
That tournament, like how the length of it?
Well, like what is it, like a 30-pound line dropper? Or?
I was using it was 40. 40 is what I just threw on there Saturday. And it was 40-pound to I was using a 2-ounce weight.
Wow, 2 ounce. That's
2
so
ounce.
And that's something that I've noticed. You take like the Missouri River, every river is a little different, depth, current speed, even like current on the bottom. We fished the Missouri River, and I was running the trolling motor on 10 on an outside bend, but we were probably in like 12, 15 feet of water and using like 3 ounces. You go to the Mississippi, and I could be running it on 4 or 5 and be using a 6 or 8 ounce, when it's that deep water. So, I mean, there's a lot of different scenarios, and it just takes time to really learn that and kind of dial that stuff in. That's the first time I've actually bumped on the Missouri River before, just 2 weekends ago.
You're right. It does take a lot of time to dial it in. I mean, it takes practice, especially for your captains that are running both the trolling motor and trying to bump at the same time. It's a lot. But what Morris and I kind of talked about since the last tournament, we ran our trolling motors completely out of batteries. So we were done, and we talked about it this tournament, and we said, let's set our trolling motor to what we think we can run all day, and then adjust our weight to that, our bumping weight to that 4 or 5 speed that we were running that trolling motor. So it doesn't work everywhere, but on the Ohio River with it moving the 2 miles per hour or whatever it was last weekend, we made it work.
What kind of batteries are you running right now? AGM, deep cycle?
What's that?
What kind, like deep cycle or AGM?
I'm pretty sure he's running the deep cycle marine batteries.
So if you go back and watch last week's live,
The
battery.
You're gonna learn a lot about batteries. So let me ask. This is another question that I always wonder. I've fished with a lot of anglers. I've been lucky with that. Do you think? So you said that it was interesting you saying that let's get it where we can run on 5, but we can go all day, even if we're going to run a little faster. Do you think speed matters at all? As in, I know some anglers, and I fished with them, they'll stay close to the boat. Like they'll use an 8 and I'll use a 4, but they are always catching some good fish. Some people like run really fast. Some people run really slow. And it's interesting fishing. I mean, I fished a lot of tournaments over the years, and you'll all be fishing the same stretch as somebody, and they just are flying down, and I'm going pretty slow. What's your thoughts on speed and presentation?
That's kind of interesting to say that, because, I mean, we can catch fish right under the boat, suspended, right? So, I mean, we can do that. I really don't know what to tell you, Alex. I mean, I really like covering a lot of water, like I said before. So, I mean, as fast as you can move that boat and as fast as you can feel the bottom, because you have to feel the bottom. If you're not feeling the bottom with your weight, you need to stop and adjust so you can feel that bottom, because you're not effectively fishing.
I think that's so important. I think as long as you can keep that bottom, because if let's say you're going a mile an hour and you're using a 4, when you bump and you hit it and you lift up, and it goes back down. I mean, you might think it's just real small, but
Right.
you could really be skipping. And I always call it, we be fishing a spot and I don't have enough weight, and I'm talking to my partner. I'm like, I am just skipping over fish. Like, I know that I'm hitting, and by the time I hit again, like, I'm just flying. So I want to go to your weight. You know what I mean? And again, everybody has their own. I fish with people that are really good, and they can do, I mean, no matter what weight they got, they can always get it like pretty good, catch fish. But some people, it just takes time. Some people can catch on like that. Everybody's just got their own learning curve.
Oh, absolutely. I know for me personally, I like that like 3 to 6 inches of line that comes out as you're bumping. Just, I mean, you see some people that, you know, they're leaned way back with these big high bumps, and they're really getting that weight above the ground. And I mean, you know, it's moving pretty good. And me personally, I've always had better luck with the short, just kind of chopping it along the bottom. I mean, that's my personal.
That's how I do it. I think Seth was kind of like that too. But I seen Bill Dance and George Young bumping one time, and I wouldn't even want to be in their boat because the way they do it, they're like they're whipping a horse. I mean, that rod is flying, but they catch fish, so it's their technique, and you know what I mean. But I could never do how they do it.
I'm no expert in the bumping thing at all, so I don't have room to talk. But I did watch a pretty extensive video on LiveScope one time. I think it was Jacob Wheeler did it, but he was throwing a football head jig on the bottom, which is a totally different application. But he's just dragging it along the bottom on LiveScope, and you can see it. And he's just showing you the action of this football head jig. And I thought it was really interesting. He lifted his rod tip like 6 inches, and somehow hydrodynamics. I don't know how it works. But that jig came like 4 feet up off the bottom from a 6-inch pull of the rod before it hit the bottom again. And I thought about how that might translate to bumping. When you pick up your rod a foot, your bait might be coming 6 feet up off the bottom by the time it gets into your line, however that works. 100%. But he did it over and over and showed it. And he's like, he was talking about how you have to be really careful about how you're dragging these jigs around because they're lifting way out of the strike zone. So it's kind of interesting you brought that up.
Yeah, that is funny. Everybody has their own style and has success, you know, doing it different ways. I mean, you know, you could be standing right next to somebody bumping, and you could be catching fish and somebody else is not. I mean, it could be something very minute that the other person's not doing, or somebody's adding that, I mean, you can't figure it out. Everyone's different when it comes to bumping.
And sometimes it doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, the fish might just be picky, but like we're in Alabama at the owners tournament, and I had some rigs with floats, some rigs with no floats, short, long, whatever. And my partner, he had basically all the same rig with a very small float, and his rigs we caught 21 fish, I think, in the weekend. I didn't catch a single fish on one of my rigs. About halfway through tournament day, we switched all the rods over to his rigs, and then I started catching fish on my rods too. But it's just subtle differences in the leader is all it was. And I don't know, it made all the difference in the world. Whatever he did different, it worked.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've had plenty of days where I've been in the boat next to my partner, and he's just whacking them dead. I'm like, dude, we got the same stuff.
Right.
So yeah, like you said, subtle differences. I did happen to throw on a Demon Dragon at the end of the tournament. I broke off my leader that I've been using all day, and this is like the last hour. And within that hour, I think I had like 4 short bites, 4 or 5. So I mean, I don't know if I'd been using a Demon Dragon all day. That could have brought our 2 fish weigh in to 4. I'm not sure, but it was kind of interesting to see the difference. And you know, I'm not like if they were reaction bites or not. I don't know from the noise that Demon Dragon was making going down the river, but the bites increased substantially. Just something I picked up. I don't know.
It could be a lot of things. I mean, like I said, I use Demon Dragons. I use rattles. I use my partner made the bullseye sinkers that got a rattle in the sinkers. I mean, I guess if I'm going out there, I'm going to throw everything in my tackle box at them. The rattles, all that stuff. And will a reaction bite? Is that a true thing? Will they strike? I think so.
Yeah. And another thing too, Alex, is color of the demon dragon, color of your peg float. Does that matter?
I don't know.
think it does, but I don't know. Maybe it's a superstition, but for whatever reason, like the pink that day was whoa.
But as long as you're confident in it, then you're golden. You know what I mean? If, like I said, so many times I'm out there and I'm like, I need to change this leader. I need to do this. I'm comfortable in my seat. I'm just going to sit here. And if it happens, it happens. But it's like what 2 weekends ago, we had Spencer Bauer with us. There was 3 of us in the boat. And I kind of jumped in last minute in the morning. They kind of had a game plan. And then it was just one of those days, nothing worked out. And then we started bumping. And that's what I love about tournament fishing is it's like we've thrown everything at them. Yeah. We're going to go bumping. I'm kind of excited because that's what I love to do. And Spencer catches the 64. Oh, and now I'm literally looking at my watch. I got the remote in my hand. And we got 15 minutes?
Yeah, I think I made the call. I feel like we got to take off. We were a long ways from the boat ramp, and you had to be back by a certain time. And I was like, all right, we got to go in 20 minutes. Not that it matters because we don't have a fish in the boat. And about that time, he bowed up on one. And he fought it for quite a while. And we finally got in the boat, got in the live one. We looked at the clock. We're like, all right, we got 10 more minutes. We keep bumping. He gets another bite. 5 minutes. 4 minutes, 3 minutes, and we get down to the 1 minute. I was like, maybe if we run really fast, we can make it back in a little. Let's do it 5 more minutes. And yeah, it was. I don't know, it was a little stressful. We rolled in with about 4 minutes to spare, I think.
Wow!
But it was a 40-minute boat ride.
The adrenaline of tournaments, to me, it makes you a better angler. I don't know. That was just when that 64 got in the boat. I am everything changes. Now I am precise. Every bump counts. And then I get bit, missed it. Spencer gets another bite, and we got seconds and we got to take off. But it's just, and back to what you said about bumping is so much fun. There's so many anglers that it's hard. They don't want to go anchor anymore. If it's not bumping season, it's tough to go out there because once you have a good day bumping,
there's nothing like it.
I mean, that's kind of like the bass guys. I'm not a bass angler. I caught bass growing up. I would assume if I went and got on a boat and bass fish like these professionals do and hook them like they do, I would probably love it. It's probably good that I don't go do that. But that's similar to what we're doing. And I think the more people that get involved in this bumping, like I said, I don't know anybody that I've taken and caught a fish bumping that's not changed their life. I got to do that again.
Well, it's funny, Alex, when we first started fishing, I don't remember anybody bumping. And maybe they were walking baits, or maybe I didn't see it. But I'm sure it was happening, maybe not at the level now. But, I mean, if you were to look at the river when we were fishing on Saturday, everyone that I saw one boat dragging, but everyone's sitting there in the back of the boat doing this. I mean, it's something, we're pioneering the way we catch catfish right now. And I think it's really, really cool.
I started to say earlier when you guys were talking about anchoring at the very beginning, when I was a kid growing up and we're channel cat fishermen or whatever, but it was throw an anchor, sit down, shut up, don't move. If a line gets a little bit of slack, make sure you tighten that 2 inches of line back up.
Yeah. Never
move your baits. You'll scare the fish away. And now, I might as well throw my anchor in the trash. I never use it. We're always moving. But I do remember I told Alex this the other day. He had that fancy ProCat 240 there a few years ago, and I wasn't into catfish tournaments. I didn't know what bumping was. And we were coming back to the ramp, and I saw this idiot out in the middle of the river with a giant catfish boat, and they're all standing in the back jigging their poles at him, and he's moving 2 miles an hour down the river, and we're like, What is that guy doing?
Yeah.
And then come 4 years later, here we are on a podcast talking about it. But yeah, I was like, there ain't no way they're going to catch any fish doing that. A bunch of idiots. And little did I know, I was the moron. but no, I don't even want to anchor anymore. I hate anchoring. It's so much more fun to catch moving. With dragging, suspend drifting, bumping, whatever, I don't care. I would much rather be moving than sitting still.
And I think it's because, and not that anchoring's not fun, but like when you have that rod in your hand, it's like at any second, and then there's the different bites. It's the ghost bite, like he's running at you, or they're like the bite where they just mouth it. It's like it's there. I mean, there's so many different scenarios when you're bumping. It's just awesome.
For me, I love the bump and bite, obviously, but for me, it's like a confidence thing because I spent so many years sitting on the end of a tight rope, not catching anything, that I feel like now, even though I can find them on sonar, and I used to not be able to, now I feel like I'll at least run into them eventually. You know, it's more of like you're covering water, you're going to run into them sometime. That's kind of how. But
oh, absolutely. I was thinking about that too. I mean, when we were kids growing up, like you said, it's, be patient.
Yeah.
Don't move it. And we're adapting to be doing the completely opposite of what we were originally taught and how we learned.
Oh, 100% different. We used to sit on the same anchor for 6 or 7 hours and not move, never change baits, nothing. I mean, we didn't catch anything, but I mean, we thought we were doing the right thing, just sitting there, not talking to each other, nothing, just sitting there for 6, 7 hours waiting on a bite.
Now, flathead, that's a different story.
Oh, yeah.
That might work for flathead. I don't know. I'm not a big flathead guy. Spencer,
the guy that he's talking about that we want, he's one of the best flathead fishermen that I know of, like on earth. And he sits in for about 15 minutes. He said they'll give him 15 minutes and they'll
move.
Yep. He'll drop baits down for 15 minutes. If they're not there, then he's moving, and he hits 20 spots a day.
Now, does he move far, or does he?
I think it just depends. I mean, he likes to find certain types of structure. It sounds like I'm gonna really wrench him down this summer. We're supposed to go out, and he's gonna teach me a little bit about him.
Wrench him down and let me know, because I'm still trying to figure those things out.
Yeah, but he don't give them long at all.
It's luck,
right?
Yeah. Typically, we give it a half hour on anchor, and if we haven't caught a fish, we're gone, moving. Something.
The way I understand it is, I mean, you're kind of going to their bedroom. Flatheads, you either throw the bait into their mouth or you're not going to catch them. It doesn't sound like they're very, from what he's explained to me. And he's watching this right now, so I don't know if he'll comment or not, but he watches all of our lives. But basically, you throw it and
tell us.
Yep. Divulge some information. He's coming on one of these. I don't know when Alex is going to have him on, but
maybe next Monday if we can ever get him on here.
Really pick his brain, but
yeah.
That'd be real cool. Those flatheads are elusive.
Oh, yeah.
So another kind of cool thing, I always, like during the day when I'm working, I'm writing stuff down on a notepad for the live. But I wrote rubber duck. So I'm checking live wells Saturday morning.
I saw that.
And a couple in a row have a rubber duck in their live well. I'm thinking this must be some weird Indiana thing. Corey was one of them.
What's that?
Corey Peterson was one of them.
Oh, he's got like what, 10 in there maybe?
He's got a lot. He's got some like big foam ones too. But another one is Rob Biddingfield, which I mean, Rob is a great angler. So I'm like, maybe these anglers over here got something figured out. So I'm putting a rubber duck in my boat. In my life.
Call it the lucky duck.
Corey just commented, he says he's got 3. Dude, I'm telling you, I don't
lie to you. He's got about 15 more in the garage.
Dude, I don't know if it's a superstitious thing, but I don't know. I'm gonna get one. So I thought that was kind of cool. I mean, hey, now they have to be given. Well, then hopefully somebody gives me a rubber duck, I guess. But yeah, that's kind of fun, cool thing to see. And like I said, as a tournament director, I get to see a lot of different things, rigs, and what people do, and it's interesting. We had a lot of new anglers that fished a lot, but they've never bumped, and they knew it was going to be kind of a bumping game. Some of them just anchored. They're like, I probably won't see you until, Muscatine or the next tournament where we're not having to bump. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, I just don't know how to bump. I'm like, just go out and do it and try it. I promise you're going to fall in love with it.
Yeah. Alex, I think my first time bumping was, I think you were out there on the Memphis, Tennessee tournament. for the Mud Bums. I don't remember
Yeah.
what that tournament was called, but that
River
was
Monster.
Was it River Monsters?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
Mississippi River Monsters. That was my first time bumping and trying to figure out on the big river.
First time bumping in Memphis. That's something.
Yeah, it was a huge learning curve. Luckily, we got there, I think, a day or two early to do some pre-fishing and practice. But yeah, that's where I learned how to bump. And I mean, you can just takes practice. It's not hard by any means.
I'd say put a heavier weight on than what you think if that's your first time. I still have to run heavy weights. They're running threes on the Missouri River. I think I had a 4 or a 5 on. Just I don't like the lightweights. Like twos, I hate twos. I don't care if the water's standing still.
Yeah, but it's just time, and you'll you know what I mean. You'll get there. I'm just laughing at the chat. Scott said next tournament at Cave, everyone bring a rubber duck for Alex. But so how many times have you fished the Mississippi bump? I guess fishing.
I think just that one time.
Just that one time.
Oh dang!
Yeah, I need to go back. It's time. It's time to go back.
We need to bring Morris to Cape, July 22nd. That is last time we were in Cape, we weighed 2 over 90.
Now, where is Cave?
Cape Girardeau.
Okay, where is that at?
So that is like almost straight west of where you're at.
Okay.
So
it's like an hour. It's an hour north of Memphis, isn't it?
No, it's probably like 3 hours north of Memphis.
3 hours north of
4 hours of Memphis.
So straight due west. Okay. Yeah, I'll talk to him about it.
Not far from Paducah at all.
That's
What's
right.
that?
Not far from Paducah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, that'll be interesting to see what he says.
Yeah.
You said July 22nd, huh?
July 22nd, yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure it'll sell out. It'll be a 75 boat tournament.
Bring some sunblock if you come, because it's going to be hot.
Yeah.
It's going to be hot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But the fishing is hot, let me tell
So
you.
do you guys put sunblock all over your hands and then wipe it all over your face?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I don't wear sunblock.
Are you
for a lot of reasons, but yeah. Alex, you said you make one guy put the sunblock on you and then you cut bait, right?
Yeah, Charlie will usually rub the sunblock all over my face for me. If Charlie's watching, I could already probably just spit up his Dr. Pepper. No, there's people that are crazy serious about that. Like, they won't do anything that day. They only, like, my partner's going to put gas in the boat. He's going to do this. I'm not going to touch anything. There's people that if they smoke or do anything like that, they'll wear gloves. Pretty wild. Like I said, I won't put sunscreen on and then touch bait. I don't know that matters. Like I said, they're catfish. Are they that particular where, who knows though? Again, I need everything in the book to help me catch that fish. So
I always used to think you guys were nuts that sometimes they'd bite on skipjack and sometimes they'd bite on moon eye, but they'd pass up. I was always under the impression that you put a fresh piece of bait in front of them and they're hungry, they're going to eat it. But heck, after the little tiny floats difference, I mean, it all makes a difference. I would imagine they can probably smell the gas and smell the sunblock. And if they're being picky that day, then it ain't going to work out for you.
I think it does too. I mean, some guys, they're really careful about what ice they use to put on their bait, because some of that ice might have bleach in it or chlorine in it or something that's off.
That's interesting. I've never heard that one, but that makes a lot of sense for sure.
Oh, yeah. Nope. I mean, I think when you get at a certain level, I mean, you are just extremely meticulous about the way you do things.
Right.
You do it a certain way every time. You know what works. I mean, this last tournament, I actually bought a stick of sunscreen so I could put it on my face if I needed it.
That's what Spencer was doing that day. Maybe there's something to that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't end up using it. But I know some guys that they don't even want to spray sunscreen on the boat because if it gets on the lines, it can, break down the braid. And
well, I think it'll ruin your graph too if you accidentally spray it on your touchscreen graph.
Yeah, I could see that too. So, oh yeah, fishermen are weird, man.
I definitely, I've heard some weird, like the bananas thing. I never understood. I mean, I know it's old wives' tale, it's bad luck, whatever. I'll eat a banana on the boat. I don't care.
Oh, what?
I ain't worried about it.
Alex,
Dude,
this guy eats bananas on the boat.
I don't eat bananas very often, but I'll take one on the boat every time I go out if I have to. I don't worry about that at all.
Terrible.
Oh man, that is hilarious.
Can't do that stuff.
I'm not
trying to
superstitious.
find it.
I'm a little stitious, but I'm not superstitious.
You're right. I remember fishing in California. It was three of us going out on the boat, and one of them brought bananas on the boat, and it was just, you brought a banana on the boat. We're throwing these bananas off the boat. It was funny. It was funny.
I know a couple years ago, the Sea Arc tournament, Zach Taylor had about 50 bananas zip tied all over his boat, and he caught 600 pounds of fish that day or something crazy like that.
Oh my!
He put on an absolute clinic. So I don't know. I don't think too much about
it. Yeah. I think it's an old wives' tale.
They did. Somebody got him good. I remember watching his stories that morning. They had him, these little candy bananas zip tied all over his steering wheel and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Man, I know some people who would probably throw the boat away.
Sell
it immediately.
He wasn't very happy about it.
It's a good prank, though.
Oh, yeah. They got a bunch of people that day, it looked like. I wasn't there. But Alex was. Did they get any on yours?
No. They must have somewhere because we didn't catch any fish.
You didn't find it?
No. We did terrible. I was trying to find a picture that.
No, you got third. That was the one you got third in.
Oh, yeah, it was. No, I don't know. I'm trying to find the picture of so we were talking about bait, just joking around pre-fishing one of the Helena tournaments. I had like a little tail piece, so I cut the tail off, and it was a small chunk. Hooked it, bumped, and caught like a 56. Just joking around with Charlie. With the tail. Dead serious. Donald, you're on here, I think. Do you remember that fish I caught with that tail section? You guys were making fun of me. This was the tournament. Here, I'll show you. Sometimes people talk about making a run. Let's see if I can share this. So that was the fuel that we loaded up. Yeah, you talking about a run right there.
They fished right in front of the ramp. That was all for show.
Oh, no. Yeah, he said, yeah, he does. He remembers that. But I was trying to find that picture of that fish. But so what about, I seen somebody had a bunch of, a lot of people had corn. Yeah, what else has been weird that's kind of gotten spit back up, thrown back up in your live well?
I mean, definitely chunks of just fish. I mean, I haven't had anything super weird. I mean, I've heard of birds being in the live well before. These catfish regurgitating birds, and
when the birds are still alive, that's when you know it's kind of crazy.
Oh yeah. This is this actually 2 years ago, and I don't know what that is. Somebody said turtle, but what do you think that is? Look at that.
That does kind of look like it. What is that?
I don't know, but it was really nasty. Like, it was disgusting.
No kidding.
But that was in a tournament.
I know when some of these fish regurgitate like 5 pounds of whatever they were eating, a lot of people get upset before weighing in.
Oh, yeah. Corey said that he had some rats at Rising Sun a couple years ago.
Rabbit?
Rats.
Somebody posted a freaking deer leg there like a month ago.
Something like that. Yeah.
Then after the Sea Arc tournament, I had about 5 pounds of mussel shells in the bottom of my live well. That's
pretty
interesting.
And Marvin said for all Twisted Cat tournaments, you can have up to 3 anglers in the boat. But if you have any more questions, feel free to give me a call or send me a message and we can chat about any of the tournament stuff. Would love to have you. We also got the grassroots for people to kind of want to get into tournaments and not pay the $300 entry also. So Scott said one CR tournament, a 5-pound ditch pickle was puked up in the holding tank. Wow. Ditch pickle.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
They'll eat some giant stuff. I mean, it's unbelievable. I see every once in a while somebody will keep a fish and they'll be dressing at home or whatever, and they'll have a 15-pound Asian carp in their gut or something crazy like that. And it's like unbelievable what they can get in their mouth.
Kevin says they puke it up. Can I shove it back in? Yeah, it ain't gonna stay in there, unfortunately. There's a reason they're puking it up. Yeah. So another thing I want to talk about, actually just another team, is Mike and Cassie Keel from Illinois. They got second place down there. They were in the hot seat for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And that was their first time down there.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Oh, that's very impressive.
Did you see them fishing?
What's that?
Did you see them fishing? Were they anywhere near you, or?
I did see them fishing. I'm not exactly sure where they were. But no, I didn't see them fishing. But man, they did absolutely fantastic.
They're a pretty good team. They follow us. I think they're at almost every tournament, aren't they, Alex?
Yeah. Well. So he got second place at Alton.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I'm not sure they were too high in Fort Madison, and then last year got second in. They got a lot of seconds, but for this points deal, he's got 2 second place finishes.
That's huge.
That's huge. Huge. So that's impressive. Then Jason Hamilton's still in first. I think I'm actually going to be working on points later tonight. Try to get that up tomorrow. Now we're at 4. If you fished 4, now you start dropping off and changing out your top 4 events. So taking the best 4 out of 9, and then those top 50 anglers will be invited to Lake Ouachita in Arkansas, fish for a purse of $35,000 plus.
Wow.
Hamilton's probably running away with it, isn't he? I mean, he's done really, really well this year so far.
Yeah, I think Hamilton's got a first place. He's got pretty good. Hamilton, Jason, if you're on here, kind of tell us he's won top 10, plus he's won a tournament.
Hasn't he won 2?
I don't know. He's came close. He's done really well this year.
Yeah, he's on a roll.
He's on a roll for sure. So he'll be tough to beat. But, with 4 events, you really get to kind of choose, some of those. He's got 1st, 4th, 5th, and 18th. So.
That's right. The other one you won was Miami. That was Central Missouri. That's right.
Yeah. A lot of tournaments left. We'll kind of see how that goes.
So, Travis, I'm curious. Did you notice any carryover from your saltwater experience to the catfishing? Is there a fish is a fish, or is it totally different?
That's a good question. Of course, when I was younger, fishing the saltwater, it was like we were talking about earlier, just kind of like stay in the same spot, don't move, don't talk too loud. You know what I mean? But as I got older, I did a lot of kayak fishing, and we were able to, we started covering a lot more ground, targeting different species, anywhere from thresher shark to halibut. I mean, we loved it all. And for halibut, we would kind of do the similar thing of, bumping your baits around, the same thing you do with a flounder. So yeah, I think some of that, it does carry over, especially when you're looking for, you've got current, and you kind of fish the same, not the same way, but you learn to start adapting.
Gotcha.
Because as fishermen, I know I'm stubborn. When I see somebody tells me something that works, I'm like, there's no way that works.
Right.
No way. And then I see them do it. I'm like, no way. That's a fluke, man. I see him do it again, I am in 100%. I'm willing to give it a shot.
Right.
So, I mean, I think as fishermen, we're really learning to adapt. And I think the really great fishermen adapt fast and adapt very well.
For sure. I know Spencer fished for sharks a lot, and he says that basically a shark and a blue cat are kind of the same thing, the way that they feed and stuff. So I don't know, it's interesting. You wouldn't think that such a drastic difference in environment would be so similar, but from the sounds of it, it's a little bit.
The sharks are a lot of fun. I caught my first shark when I was young. I was probably like 11 or 12. We had packed down these kayaks. I'd never been kayaking before ever. Me and my buddy brought some kayaks down the beach, and we paddled out like a mile. And we had bought the finest Walmart special, this giant spinning reel. We put 100-pound braid on it, and we caught mullet is what we're using. We caught it out of the cast net. And we get out there, and I crank my drag just as tight as I could get it. Just super tight. I'm like, I'm ready to go. Well, the rod holders in the kayak are back behind you. And I learned my lesson. That first shark smoked it. About flipped me out of the kayak. I screamed like a little girl. I couldn't get the rod out of the rod holder in the back. It was complete chaos in the kayak. But I mean, we quickly learned that do not ever tighten your drag as tight as it'll get when you're fishing for an animal bigger than you.
Right.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it quickly broke off because for sharks, you typically use a leader longer than the shark you're fishing for. And we thought it was just the teeth that you had to worry about. So we had these little steel leaders. But you got to use great big long leaders. But just a funny little story of lesson learned the hard way for sure.
Right. He actually told a similar story the other day, and just a quick rundown. But he said he was using 5 foot long, I think it was black tip for bait. Yeah. A 5 foot long bait. Alex, imagine that.
A 5 foot long bait.
Yep. And he was kayaking it out, I don't know how far, and then coming back and fishing off the bank, and said that whatever it was hit it, and he's a pretty big guy, 210 pounds or so, and he's sitting down like he's in a chair, heels dug in the sand with his rod, and it's peeling drag sort of. I mean, he's just sitting there because it's holding him up, and it gets to the end of the spool and it snaps, and of course the rod hits him in the face and blah blah blah. But yeah, he hooked into something just gigantic. But I mean, you're using 5 foot long bait. Yeah,
that is insane.
Yeah,
I know a lot of those guys that fish from the beaches, they have to be real careful when they put their fighting belt on and they clip themselves to that reel.
Yeah,
they are now attached to the fish.
Right.
I mean, you cannot just go crazy, pull that drag all the way up, and not think that fish is going to take you for a swim.
And
it can happen.
Like he said, the ocean doesn't have fences in it, so I mean, you could hook into anything. I mean, it could have been I don't know how big they get, a great white, 40 foot long or whatever the heck, great white shark. And you get hooked into one of those. I don't know, but
no kidding.
I couldn't imagine. I went to Cape Cod and fished from the bank. I actually went for a yellowfin, and we ended up catching a thresher shark that was like, they said it was 11 foot long, but we were having tuna gear. So it broke like right at the boat, but we fought it for a while. And like that, seeing that rod and stuff, like and seeing the shark go like underneath the boat, I was like, dude, this is nuts. So then that night, fished from shore, and I actually had some 10-foot mud bum rail splitter rods, and it's pitch black, you know what I mean? So I remember I had them set up. I didn't know what I was doing. I went and bought some bait at the store, launched them out there. And I'm sitting down, and I look to the left at the other one, and all you see is a drag mark. The whole thing's gone. It drags into and then I never got a bite on the other one. So I don't know what it was. I mean, obviously it's not crazy big. It was a Dakota 600 and a 10-foot rod. Right. But that was cool seeing that just disappear. But down the bank a little bit, there were some other guys that were fishing. They were like sitting on the ground, dug in, and their rod was just screaming towards, I don't know what they caught, but I'd love to go shore fish sometime with somebody that kind of knows what they're doing, and I think that'd be a blast.
Oh,
He caught some giants. I didn't realize that sharks are rough either. That's why you use such long leaders.
Yeah,
I thought they were smooth like a dolphin. But he said you go the wrong way, they'll tear you up.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yep.
They absolutely will. They almost feel like sandpaper if you've never felt them before. Just a real rough skin. And that's why they say you need a leader longer than the shark you're fishing for.
Wow, that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was a blast. I got a picture of Corey somewhere. I don't know if Seth, you know Corey Peterson, but I got a picture of him. This was probably 10 years ago or longer, and we went out kayak fishing for a shark, and he caught a thresher shark that towed us like a mile away from the beach, and the picture of him, he's holding it like this, and the tail's whipped over his head. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Real cool.
That doesn't sound safe, fishing for sharks in a kayak.
But it's so much fun, man.
Nothing about that sounds appealing to me, but
nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. I'm barely going to get in the ocean, let alone fish for a shark from a kayak. But
I
don't know.
The only thing I really like goals wise, saltwater. I want to catch one of the giant Goliath grouper that you can't even put in the boat with you. I want to catch one.
Those things are just monsters.
Yeah, 400 or 500 pound Goliath grouper sounds pretty fun to me, but it is crazy though. You get them up to the side of the boat, and it looks like most of the time you just reach down, pop the hook, and let them go. I mean, you can't even get them in the boat with you or take any good pictures or anything.
Right.
But it'd be fun.
Yeah.
What's your bucket list fish, Travis?
My bucket list fish? Oh man.
It seems like you've caught quite a few.
That's a tough one. I mean, I've always wanted to catch a tarpon. Tarpon would be awesome. Your big bluefin tuna, that would be awesome. I mean, any of those fish would just be incredible.
What about going out to like the Snake River in Idaho?
That's mine.
Getting those big sturgeon on like the Snake River in Idaho.
Oh, that would be cool too. I've never caught a sturgeon.
That's my number one behind any species of catfish. Is I want to go catch a 10-foot plus sturgeon. I think that'd be a blast.
Now those are legitimate dinosaurs, aren't they?
That's what they say.
Yeah. That would be extreme. Those things just are incredibly big fish.
The Wells cats look kind of interesting too, but I don't know. I've seen some videos. Some of it looks fun. Some of it looks really, really boring.
Now those get what, 200-300 pounds, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the world record is, but I know Spencer went and they caught one that was like over 150, and they weren't really that excited about, if I remember right.
Yeah. Are they using bait, like fresh bait at all? Or are they using?
No, they use like it's like a mash, like sweet feed for horses. It sounds like. Yeah, I don't know. That's the part that doesn't look like fun at all to me. But going and throwing like crankbaits for them, sight fishing for them, that looks like a blast.
I watched some guy on Instagram, and that's all he does. He's in the little, I don't know what you call it, a kayak or something, like with his feet in the water, like a little, I don't know. It's wild, but that's all he does is throw crankbaits.
Yeah.
And it'll pull them around and stuff, and they're giants. And then he catches them, he brings them up on his legs. I mean.
Oh, yeah. They call that the kayak sleigh ride. When that fish is pulling you around.
That's awesome. Yeah, that'd be a good
trip, though, to go catch them.
What's that?
I said that's kind of an expensive trip to go out to catch whales out. I mean, you have to fly there, which is going to be a little pricey.
Oh, he said his trip to go out there and catch them where he was at, I think it was in Spain. Like I said, not a very exciting trip. They're throwing mash for him or whatever, but it was cheaper to do that than to like go to Alabama for a week and catfish.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
I think the whole trip he had less than, I don't know, we'll ask him next week, but it wasn't a high amount of money, like less than $1,500, I think is what he said.
Really?
We blow that.
I'll fly there this year.
We blow that.
I think I'm excited. I am going to the Snake River this year. So I got to find out when's good, but I'm going. I've been
Well,
talking about it for too long.
That's my number one on the bucket list. So non-catfish species. So let me know.
Oh yeah, that would be really cool. Oh, another one, king salmon, man. I've wanted to catch a king salmon for so long. Wait, I only live 2 hours from Lake Michigan, and last year king salmon was on the bucket list, and it did not make it in the boat.
So I've heard guys say that. I've never looked into it. What's special about the king salmon?
It's just the largest breed of salmon out there. It's like the blue catfish of the salmon species.
How do you fish for them?
They up there, it is so bizarre how they fish because they've got all sorts of different stuff that is just wild. I mean, you got downriggers off the side of your boat, big old cannonballs that drop down off your riggers, and
You're trolling for them.
You're trolling for them. You got flashers and dodgers and spoons, and I mean, it's
what's like a giant king salmon?
I've always said king salmon over 30 pounds is just a monster.
Wow. Okay.
Out here in Alaska, it's a totally different story out there. But for Lake Michigan, 30-pound king, I think you're doing pretty good.
Cool.
Yeah. And they're supposed to put up a tremendous fight.
Yeah.
But we'll find out soon. Maybe this year will be the year.
When you're fighting a 3-pound cannonball and a dipsy diver, I bet anything feels pretty dang big.
Right? Well, hopefully you're not fighting the cannonball. It's supposed to release off the cannonball, so you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, when you're fighting everything else, especially what do they call it? The dipsy divers. You said it right. The dipsy divers. Those things are extremely heavy in the water.
I bet. Everything feels huge on planer boards. I know that.
It does. I know. It sure does. But we'll see.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
We'll see what this year started off pretty good. I can't complain at all.
Started off really good.
I'm excited for another year of good fishing. I'm very excited.
That's a good thing about winning tournaments is you just paid for a lot more fishing trips.
Yeah. You said it best.
Right.
Don't tell her that, though.
Right. Absolutely. And if you can go down and win the championship now, pay for a lot of fishing trips.
Man, I'll just quit my day job at that point.
Here, Corey actually sent me a picture of what has puked up in his live well. That is disgusting.
Is that a nutria rat?
Nasty.
That's a rat from Teenage Ninja Turtles.
I wish there was a size reference there. That's a monster. It looks like.
It looks like a monster.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, that does. That's nasty.
So, and we're gonna have to wrap it up soon, I'm sure. But what do you guys think about the corn and the small fish? I mean, you think that the big fish were gone? You think they'd fed up enough? You think the small fish had pushed the big fish out due to all the corn being in the river, or what?
You know, something I heard is a lot of anglers marked some good fish, and I've seen some sonar pictures from like Doug Rice and a few anglers down south. I don't know, kind of weird, but it's definitely. I mean, they were there for sure.
Maybe the corn had like polluted the water enough that they weren't interested in the baits. I don't know. I'm just curious what your guys' opinion is, but because obviously it played a factor.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't tell you if my big fish, regurgitated corn or not, because I mean we had more than one fish in there, so I'm not sure. But I mean, if that corn started like a feeding frenzy, I could see, the bait, the bigger fish come in, and you know what I mean? One thing leads to another. But
the big fish had already been in there and got their fill and have moved out, maybe. Or
it could be that. It could be. I don't know.
I think they kind of get first picks, obviously. I mean, there's definitely a pecking order in the river, it seems like.
Right. All right. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say what happened with that corn, but there were a ton of 15 pounders weighed in, Alex? in that range, 10, 15 pounds.
A ton of like that 15 was like the average, I would say, and it was just, I mean, a lot like that.
So I don't know the details. I'm just learning about it tonight. I'm wondering if you couldn't have gotten above where that barge wrecked. If that would have made a difference in your fishing or not.
Yeah, I'm sure it might have. It might have. I'm not sure where that barge dropped it or, anything like that. But I'm sure it would have made a difference.
Because obviously those fish are above it. They can't smell it. They don't know that it happened.
Right.
So they're in the same frenzy that the ones downriver would have been.
Right.
I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. But
see, I know it said loose barges on the Ohio River crash into McAlpine locks, but that supposedly had 1,400 metric tons of methanol. So I don't know. That was a month ago.
That was a while ago.
Yeah.
It was 1 month ago.
Runaway
we saw
barges.
I'll put that on. I'll show it on the screen. Actually, this is some pretty wild. Like I said, this actually is crazy. Let me see if I can throw this up there.
As in plural, slamming into a dam on the Ohio River. This is all happening at a dam near Louisville, Kentucky. Emergency officials say 3 barges got loose, hitting the structure. You could see one of the barges partially underwater. Louisville Emergency Management saying one barge is carrying 1,400 tons of methanol. It's a naturally occurring chemical, but it is incredibly toxic if consumed. Louisville's water department saying that the wreck is downriver from the city's water intake. Hazmat crews are monitoring the situation.
So that was, looks like that was March 29th. So what's McAlpine? That's right there. You were just below that, correct?
Yeah.
That would have been, it had to have been a different incident because that corn would have been gone. I mean, rotted away by now.
Yeah, I think that corn was pretty fresh corn.
They just have a lot of problems with barges around there, I guess.
It sounds like they have had a lot of problems with barges.
Yeah. No, I fished a tournament, one of my first tournaments years ago. Actually one of the first river monsters. We made a long run. That was back when you had to leave from Memphis, leave at 3 a.m, and we went all the way to Helena, which is like 80 some miles in the dark, which is fun. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah.
That was back when they had no fixed light, so I got a rope on each side of this LED light bar going like this to see things. Never been on the lower Mississippi.
No radar tower at the time.
No radar tower. Things are a lot different. People are starting to use their sonars, their radars, mapping a lot better. But anyways, we went down there, and there was a boat beat us. They were spot locked at a granary. They were filling a barge, and I never forget the guy. He turned the deal a little bit, and it just shot a bunch of corn out into the water. And I mean, they just caught fish after fish after fish after fish.
So it turned them on like that, huh?
Turn them on like that. But, sometimes when they get done, they'll always blow the top of the barges off. So I'm going to assume that, that they're eating it. But, once that corn hits the Mississippi, that current's flying. So I'm sure it pushes them down a ways. But, yeah. But like I said, I've never caught a giant at a granary. You just catch a lot of, 20 pounders.
Right.
Which they must, I'm sure they're staged up below it all the time, waiting on them to spill some or whatever. So that's interesting. Catch a few in front of the granary at home. Nothing big, like you said.
Yeah, it's weird. Like around here, you just don't catch them like you do down south. I don't know why that is, but it's kind of weird. Also I seen Tom was on. Tom, the pictures from this weekend turned out awesome. Obviously, as always, a lot of good lifestyle pictures that, we all love. So he got some good ones and some people that I'll start sharing here in the next few days that they're in that album. I think it was like 168 pictures total. So, and he got a good one of you with your PB. So how cool is that? Catch a PB and get some good pictures of it.
Man, incredible photographer.
Yeah, and then we'll have a video here
Great
soon.
work.
And Brandon Martin was there to do a video kind of. I don't know if you've seen a guy with another camera. He was kind of moving around. That's all video, so we'll see that here pretty soon.
I thought I saw a drone above weigh-in.
Yeah, him too, yeah. Yep.
It'll be a cool video. Brandon and Tom are top notch.
Are they?
Yeah.
Brandon can make some incredible video, and Tom can take some incredible photos. So we got a good crew, it seems like.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What's your next fishing trip or tournament or event, or what do you got going on? What do you got coming up?
Well, I'm gonna be fishing Indiana Catfish Association's next tournament this weekend coming up, Saturday.
Weekend. All right, where's that at?
Saturday, Angel Mounds.
So there'll be good current down there, you think, or is that close to a dam? Or
I think the current is supposed to drop off actually over the weekend. So
dragging, huh?
it could mean dragging. I mean, we always come up with a plan and then adapt, right? So right now that's kind of what we're thinking, but I mean, everything's subject to change. But as far as sitting on anchor, like you guys said,
not gonna
probably
happen.
not.
Leave it at home.
Right. So yeah, looking forward to that one. And after that, I'm gonna have some time off. I think Memorial Weekend's the next weekend, and so yeah. one more tournament in the near future, and then a little bit of a break.
Well, July 22nd in Cape is a awesome event.
All right, I'll bring it up. I will bring it.
Well,
up.
he already gave the thumbs up. Let me see. Hold on. Here it is. You ready?
Yeah. Okay.
Uh-oh.
All right, Morris.
So he's ready to rock and roll. But no, that's fun. Cape's a fun town. Really, really nice kind of river town. And like I said, it's kind of that tournament's just grown from, I think the first time I was there, we had 22 boats, and now we're in the high, I think 68 boats. So we're capping the events at 75 if we hit them. I think that'll be the first one that we hit.
Okay.
The fishing is just phenomenal, and you don't have to worry about current there because there's going to be current for sure.
Gonna be current.
Yeah, bring the bumping rods. Leave the anchor at home. Leave the anchoring rods at home. You're gonna be bumping.
All right. Are you gonna be there?
Oh yeah, I'll be there.
Okay.
He'll be there. He'll have a mic on his head, but he'll be there.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll be carrying around an umbrella. Probably one of those little spritz fans.
Yeah. You guys gonna put that hot seat right in the sun again?
Oh, I guarantee.
No, in the shade. I'm sorry about that, but hey, it was a hot seat. Like I said,
Oh,
man,
it was.
A cool quote from Doug Rice. He said, "A sure way to sit in the hot seat is to be the first boat to weigh fish."
That's right.
There you go.
That's about the only way I can ever get in one.
Yeah. So yeah, he weighed a couple hours early, but he was in there. But no, that's like I said, it's fun. But Doug had fun this weekend. There's a couple single anglers that actually Aaron Jarrell was by himself too and did real well. He was in the hot seat. Actually, Doug was solo, got in the hot seat. Aaron was solo, kicked Doug out, and then Aaron got kicked out. I think we had 4 or 5 different people in the hot seat. So
Was
always
Doug
fun.
Was Doug on the mic? Did I hear
Doug
him?
was on the mic telling us some catfish jokes.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, Doug, and he's got those jokes. He's got the catfish jokes.
Yeah, I was watching the live weigh-in for my Airbnb, and I was like, that sounds a lot like Doug Rice, but I couldn't see his face in there anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys did a great job.
Well, yeah, we'll come to Cape. We'll have fun. Maybe we'll do something. Maybe one of these nights and on these weekends that you're free. Like I said, once we start I'm going to get my boat tomorrow or Wednesday and get it ready, and then we'll start doing some. The goal is to do some stuff on the boat live like this, but we're bumping and we're talking and having fun. So I'm really excited about that.
Oh,
that would be really cool to watch.
You can watch us snag up all night long, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Next Monday, we better be out there doing it.
Yeah, the river. We had a lot of flooding water here. Some flash floods this past. Actually, I was gone. We had some flash floods, but I think we had 2.5 inches in 30 minutes in my hometown. It's been rough, but really excited. Nick just went over Mississippi and Burlington. Looks like water level is finally coming down, and it is. So it's definitely flood stage, but it's coming down fast. It's May 15th. It's gonna get really, really good, really quick up here because I live in pool 20 on the Mississippi, and it's the last pool that you can catch a blue cat. Which, if our buddy's on here, he can catch blue cats up north, but we won't call him out on that. You know, they'll migrate in the spring up here and stay here for the summer, and it's crazy. Like you can't catch a blue cat until like the end of May, and then they're on fire for a few months, and then they're gone. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, but I'm looking out the window right now. It's still light out. We could be out there right now. So next week, let's do it.
Down.
Do it.
Yeah. But no, we'll have you on again, and we'll have you'll set up like you are now. You'll just set it up on the boat and
go somewhere with good service.
Yeah, that's hard to find. But yeah, absolutely. That sounds like a blast. That sounds really cool.
Alex had to get Starlink, so we're able to do it from our boats now. So that's gonna be cool. See how that works.
Yes. So we can do lives at all the tournaments and have some stuff to do on the boats and stuff. So we'll have Starlink hooked up and ready to rock and roll. I'm ready, man. I'm setting up and I'm just thinking of you guys out there doing this and then obviously you had an awesome bite. So.
Oh yeah, that'd be something else to catch everything live like that.
Oh, 100%. And that's where you can really, talking about what we're doing and how we're doing it's one thing, but like taking this show on the water and really showing that's different. And that's going to bring the value that, what we're trying to bring here. So I'm excited about that.
Absolutely. That would be.
And watching the get hung up and throw the rod down. And I got to give him like a breathing exercise because he's upset. Seth is still up. Seth is still in the 20s, so he gets worked up.
Oh man,
He's got a beautiful boat too. He's got him a new Easy Cat that he's decked out and very particular.
It's a work in progress.
But I slept. I got a little sleep in the. That's the only thing I don't like when we anchor fish in his boat. I fall asleep on the couch in the front.
Yeah,
I did get a good nap in.
Right. I slept on the couch the night before that term. I slept in the parking lot on the couch. I didn't think it was gonna be too comfortable, but man, I slept like a baby up there. So I'm gonna make that a regular thing.
You're crazy, man.
I didn't want to get a hotel room, and we were in the middle of nowhere where the tournament was, and the closest hotel was like 40 minutes away. I was like, screw it, I'm sleeping in the parking lot. So, it worked out.
Nice.
I brought a cot, and I decided to sleep on the couch. The couch was more comfortable than the cot. So.
Oh yeah, I know when the kids come on the boat and stuff like that, I always bring a beanbag and throw it up on the boat.
Oh, there you go.
You cannot be a beanbag on the front of the boat.
Actually, Ray Ferguson fished this weekend in his pro guide, and he had a big Ocean Tamer beanbag for his son on there. I actually have 2 of those, and they are nice. They are very nice.
Did you say Ocean Tamer?
Yeah, that's the brand, Ocean Tamer. So I guess it's more of like a marine beanbag, but yeah.
Interesting. Never heard of that before.
I've never heard of it either, but I mean, if it's beanbag-like, it'll work.
It's beanbag. It's nice. It's real nice. Check it out sometime. But yeah. Well, thanks for being on the show. It's again, I tell you, when I wanted to do this, I'm like, we'll do an hour every Monday night, and it always goes way over an hour, which is fine. I think some people still stay on to watch. But again, thanks for coming on. Awesome job, this weekend.
Absolutely, Alex. Thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. You guys did a really great job this last tournament. It was fantastic.
It's because I wasn't there. That's why it went so well.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Seth, you're killing it.
Everything was smooth, really smooth.
No, he does a good job. It's a pretty cool thing to be a part of.
It really is. It really is.
Well, next time, Travis, we're going to have you on, and you're going to be bumping against me and
Bumping
Seth.
away. All right.
Yeah.
Bumping
and
against
then,
you guys?
and hey, maybe if the 22nd's Cape, then the 24th at 7, I might have you on again if you win that tournament.
All right. All
So,
right.
I mean, come on, man.
All
You
right.
know?
I kind of like the idea of these maybe one-on-one or maybe 3-way tournaments on live. That'd be a lot of fun.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. I'm down. It's going to happen really, really soon. Like,
Makes it tough though, because when you're serious fishing, you don't want to sit here and chat. So I don't think anybody wants to sit there for an hour and watch us fish and not talk to the camera. So there's kind of a balance there.
we can chat, I promise. We already chat.
Yeah,
We're
we say
doing
things on the boat you can't really put on, live internet TV. So
Well, I gotta do a little PG on some of you guys. You get a little carried away.
we got to do a little censorship.
Yeah. I don't know that you can be on live while you're bumping.
Probably not.
Yeah. Seth will be silent.
Oh, yeah.
He will be silent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Not
cut
a
the mic.
multitasker, huh?
Cut the mic.
Cut the mic.
I'll be saying stuff under my
It's hard
breath.
when you're bumping to do anything else. I will say that much.
Oh, I'll be talking. You just don't want to hear what I've got to say.
Oh, okay.
It is. I tell you what, like I always say, and nothing against dragging. I love dragging. That's fun. I can drag baits and watch a series of Netflix during a tournament.
Right.
You're not watching Netflix. You're not barely taking a drink. You're not on your phone. You got the remote in one hand, rod in the other, and that's it.
Yeah, that's your life in that moment. Nothing else matters.
And sometimes I'll put the remote down and I'll have my partner, he'll have to like unscrew my cap on my soda to get a drink. Because if you take it off for a second, I mean, I've lost bites by not having it all together. You're on your phone and then boom, bite, you missed it.
Those days are the ones where you end the day and you got 12 missed calls and 36 new text messages and you're in trouble. And you didn't
yeah. You're
Hopefully
in
you got a lot
trouble.
of fish on the boat too.
Yep.
We've been there.
Absolutely. Well, hey guys, thank y'all so much. I really enjoyed being on the show.
Well, we'll do it again. Again, great job this past weekend. Thanks for hanging out with us. And we'll see you soon. Everybody else that was watching, thanks for watching. Hopefully we gave you some value. Travis gave you a few tips and tricks from the weekend. We'll be on next Monday. Again, I'll have the points up tomorrow for the first 4 events. We'll also have the video. We got the pictures updated. Any questions you have about the events, shoot us a message, give us a call. And we'll see you soon on the water. We still got to get a good tagline for the end. Like keep it twisted or whatever. I don't know. We ain't decided that. Come up with one. Whoever comes up with a good tagline, you can get a shirt and a hat.
I'm still waiting on my shirt and hat from the guests from that tournament there a couple months ago. I don't remember which one it was, but I'm pretty sure I won.
I'll have to go back and look. Yeah, we'll do it. But yeah, so share this video, tell people about it, and again, we'll just keep on doing this Monday night, having fun with it. So Travis, again, thanks. And we'll let everybody have a good rest of your week.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you later.
Right.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.